Yeah, so I grew up in a normal-sized Methodist church. Kind of the extent of what church was for me was I knew if I showed up, I would get Dunkin' Donuts Munchkins. And so when I was about 10 or 11 years old, my family started going to a real small, non-denominational church. That's where I met my first youth minister, who kind of really showed me attention and sought me out as a person. He kind of just took me under his wing. They called me Little Buddy. Through the lessons he taught and through the life that he lived, that's really where, Christ was shown. And I realized the weight that sin had in my life, and the importance of surrendering that to Jesus. And it all started with that relationship I had with him. We ended up talking, and I ended up giving my life to Christ and getting baptized on Easter Sunday at that church. Seth was the one who baptized me. And shortly after that, he decided that he was called to go church plant at a church down in Florida. It put a pretty big dent in my faith walk when he left. But when he did, they hired a new college graduate by the name of Taylor Brown. Immediately, we just hit it off. He was really, really instrumental in showing me that having a relationship with Jesus and, living guided by the Holy Spirit was so much more than showing up to events and inviting friends to things and checking all these boxes. He never ceased pointing me back to Jesus. He never stopped loving me regardless of the things I would confess to him. He would never treat me differently. He would never look down at me. It was always something that we were doing together, following Jesus. So fast forward a couple of years, and that was when I got a phone call from Taylor. We ended up having lunch, and he said, well, a guy I went to Johnson with, his name's Nate Seaman, is the pastor at a church in Fort Mill, South Carolina. They're looking for a creative director, and I think you would be a good fit for it. Man, immediately fell in love with the church, with the people, with the vision, the authenticity, just the sense of family and community that's here. I was the creative director for 2 years, and that's when one thing led to another, and they offered me the position of student ministries director, and I said yes. That night, when I officially got offered the position, I was able to call both of my youth pastors and say to them, thank you so much for pouring into me. Thank you for believing in me and showing me what it is to follow Jesus and being my friend and being there for me when I needed you most. It's helped me so much in investing in the next generation, because we're always one generation away. This generation's leaving the church faster than any generation has ever, statistically speaking. I don't ever want to take for granted the opportunity to pour into these kids' lives and be their friends. I don't want to just be a babysitter. I want to invest in these kids' lives like my youth ministers invested in me, and they raised up the next generation of Christians. I want to equip the saints with this next generation.